Hi guys, today I'm going to do an apple crumble, and rather than just do a bog standard apple crumble, I have some lovely fresh figs which are sitting in my fridge. So I'm going to do an apple and fig crumble. What I have got in here are 10 apples sort of that size. They're not cooking apples, so I'm not going to pre-cook them. And if you like your apples to be quite soft, then you can start the process on the stove with a little bit of butter and sugar and cook it down a little bit. However, while I've still got teeth, I would quite like to have a little bit of a crunch in my pudding. So I've got the 10 apples in here which I have cored and cut into slices. I have half a cup of brown sugar, and I have the zest of a fresh lemon and the juice of that lemon. I don't have any cardamom at the moment, but I would actually put a little pinch of cardamom in there. I think that would be really quite nice. So this is now going to be mixed up together, and in the meantime I've made a crumble, and in the crumble I have got a cup of butter. Well, that's actually 250 grams of butter. So 250 grams of butter. I've got a cup of brown sugar. I have got almost a cup of oats, and about almost a cup of flour. So that's brown sugar, butter, flour and oats. Normally you would have 1 cup of each, but I like to combine the oats and the flour, and I don't like it to be too buttery. So it mustn't be completely soggy. So we're going to add that butter slowly, and if I feel that it's not the right consistency, I won't add as much, or I'll just add a bit more, because there's always that absorbency issue with flour that you need to become aware of. So here we've combined this. I'm just taking out the few pips that are in there, the juice and the zest and the little bit of sugar in here. And then I'm going to pour it into my dish. And this will cook right down, so it's fine for me to add the figs as well. So I'm just going to try and incorporate these a little bit. This is a great way to use up your autumnal fruit, and then it won't sit and go bad in your fridge, which is so often the case with people spontaneously buying various fruits and so on, but they don't really know what to do with them, or not really going to make a concerted effort at eating them. So when they start getting a little bit tired, then that's a great way to start using up your fruits, your stone fruits and all the beautiful plums and things that are available. Start using those up in things like apple crumbles. I mean, one of the best is apple crumble with, apple and blackberry. So if you get some nice frozen blackberries or fresh blackberries or whatever, it's great. Okay, so we're going to take this butter now. Okay, so I've put in some of the butter, and now I'm just going to, it's still a bit hard, I'm just going to cut it in like you would a pastry, to start getting a crumb going. And that way it will still have lovely little nuggets. Let me just try and be sensible here. Lovely little nuggets of butter that will melt in. So as you can see, I've cut this up. I'm now going to squish what's rested, what is left of it, and see if I need to add more. But obviously if you use butter that's softer, you don't have to go through this cutting malarkey that I've just been through, but it just didn't soften quick enough. You know me, I'm very impatient, so I just get on with it. Okay, so I'm squishing this, and this is what you want in a crumble. This method with the oats and everything is the only method I will use. I cannot stand that disgusting snotty stuff that lies underneath crumble that people find acceptable. I mean, there's nothing that makes that acceptable. It is just revolting, and we've got enough of that rubbish in, you know, many other places, even our government, you know what I mean? Okay, so this is the texture that I want. Can you see when I squish it? Lovely. So we're going to now put this on top of the crumble. Incidentally, I have put the oven on 180. So now you can break this up as finely or as coarsely as you like. So you can either have the Sahara, or you can have, you know, rocks and boulders. It's all about texture and crunch. I mean, if you're going to have the sand, I don't really see the point, because it's just, what are you eating, you know? But when you have these fabulous little nuggets or stones or pebbles or massive boulders that have now crisped and crunched in the oven, oh, it's divine. You know, you've got something that your teeth can get hold of. And now it looks like I've made way too much of this crumble. So now we can really pile this quite high. And so leave it in different textures. You know, I've got some of the sort of quasi-sandy stuff, not much. And I haven't put any butter or olive oil in here, which I actually meant to do a drizzle of olive oil in here, but I'm talking too much. But you can dot it with butter in, you know, on the apples, or, you know, a nice little drizzle of olive oil, which gives an interesting fruit profile and changes it up slightly. And, you know, try different spices. Cardamom and fig and apples, I don't know, it appeals to me intellectually. I can't say that I've actually tried it, but intellectually, flavor-wise, I think that would work. And that's how you will develop your own palate, just by trying things. I was about 13 or 14 or something, and I thought that it was terribly exciting, you know, this world of cooking. And that's when you start putting every single herb and spice you've got in your cupboard into the dish, until you start learning less is more. You know, that's how you're learning, you're testing your palate. You just throw everything in until you suddenly realize that you've completely overwhelmed your palate. It tastes repulsive, and then you start paring it down and going back, and then isolating specific flavors that you want to shine. And that's kind of the whole cooking process. So here we have this lovely apple crumble with a mountain of crumble on the top, and then I'm going to put it into the oven at 180. I'm not sure how long. What I'm going to do is pay attention to the color of the crumble. So maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. Use your eyes, use your smell. It smells great in the kitchen. You know, if you're baking a cake and you can suddenly smell cake, oh, it's really go run and check your cake, because it usually means that it's ready. So smell is a great indicator as well. Eyes, smell, and then common sense. Just, you know, check it after 20 minutes time or something. I might even turn this up a little bit when I reckon it's cooked a little bit, because the higher heat is good for the pastry, and that's essentially kind of what you're making, is a sort of pastry on the top. So if we want to crisp that up, then we can just bump the heat up to 200. So we'll come back and check it out when it's done. So on my timer, I've still got 6 minutes, but my nose is telling me that this could very well be ready. So let's take it out and have a look. Don't be too bound by things like time, because, you know, this stuff changes. So these apples, I think they were Golden Delicious or something like that. They are very soft already, and I didn't even pre-cook them. So this is enough. I don't want it to be more than this. The most important part of this for me that needs to be cooked is in fact the crumble, because that you can't eat raw, that's disgusting. But the fruit it doesn't matter how cooked it is, it's personal preference. So this is nice and, you can hear, nice and crisp. And so I'm going to leave this to cool down, and this you have with my favorite creme fraiche with a little bit of lemon zest in there, or just some really thick cream, and if we were so lucky some clotted cream would be really good. Yeah, and then what a perfect Sunday pudding for autumn, you know. Righty ho, let's have a look. All this fabulous plum coloured juice on the bottom. So you've got your apples and the figs, and now we're going to put a dollop of cream on there. I've added a little bit of vanilla to this, just to give it natural sweetness, perfume, and it goes really well. So there you have it. Really delectable autumnal fare for the whole family. It'll become a favorite of yours and gives you great scope to experiment with lots of different fruits and everything. Bon appetit.